In today's video, we're breaking down 5 seemingly harmless phrases that are actually bright red flags waving right in your face. These aren't just words, they're warnings. We're talking about the casual joke that slices through your confidence like a knife, the ultimatum cleverly disguised as high standards, the loyalty test you never signed up for, the compliment that quietly eats away at your self-worth, and the 4 calm words that hold more threat than comfort. Stick around, because by the end, you'll know exactly when to walk away and the one sentence that instantly puts the power back in your hands. Hey there, I'm Jessie and welcome back to the channel. Let's get straight into it. Phrase number 1. I was only kidding. Relax. Imagine you're at a relaxed gathering with friends. The mood is light, everyone's having a good time, laughter is flowing. Then suddenly she turns to you and says, "Wow, you really wore that shirt." A short pause follows before she quickly adds, "I'm just kidding, relax." The group laughs, but you hesitate. Something about the comment doesn't sit right. She leans back, smiling as if it was nothing more than a playful joke. But let's call it what it is, a test. Hidden behind that joke is a subtle probe, a way to measure how much disrespect you'll quietly absorb without protest. If you laugh along, she takes note. That kind of reaction tells her it's okay to poke at your self-esteem, to chip away at your confidence under the cover of humour. If you call it out, she might switch tactics. "Wow, you're so sensitive," putting the blame back on you, painting you as the one who can't take a joke. No matter how you respond in that moment, if you're not careful, your confidence can take a hit while she walks away with the upper hand. And make no mistake, this isn't an isolated incident. The wording may change, but the tone stays the same. You might hear lines like, "Your little dad bod is kind of cute, relax, I'm teasing," or, "Oh sure, you can afford that car?" Then comes the giggle and the classic, "Haha, chill!" These aren't random jokes. Notice what's being targeted, not your favourite band or your weird dance moves. She's going after your goals, your appearance, your money, things that reflect your core identity. It's not light-hearted, it's calculated. That's contempt disguised as comedy. The real damage starts small. You begin to second-guess yourself. You avoid saying certain things or making specific choices just to avoid another jab. Suddenly, you're no longer standing tall. You're navigating a minefield, hoping not to set her off. And just like that, she becomes the judge and you're the one trying not to be found guilty. So what should you do the very first time this happens? Stay calm. Look her in the eye and say, "I'm all for playful banter, but let's keep it respectful." That one sentence accomplishes 3 powerful things. It calls out the behaviour, sets a clear boundary, and neutralises the classic overreaction trap. If she respects that and adjusts her approach, great. You've raised the standard without causing a scene. If she rolls her eyes, mocks you, or doubles down, it's time for the scoreboard. Say something like, "Teasing that strips dignity kills attraction." Are we on the same page? If she still won't take it seriously, then walk away, quietly, confidently, and without drama. Just say, "This dynamic doesn't work for me. Take care." Remember, high-value men don't beg for approval. They create the standard and welcome those who match it. So the next time someone hides a verbal dagger inside, "I was just kidding," remember this. The joke stops where your self-respect starts. Phrase number 2. If you really love me, you would. Let's set the scene. Imagine you just received a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, an exclusive invite to attend a weekend networking event with top industry leaders. You're thrilled, energized, and you can already see how this could open doors for your career. Naturally, you share the exciting news with your partner. She listens, then tilts her head slightly and says, "If you really love me, you'd skip that trip and stay with me instead." Now pause. That one sentence is doing a lot more than it seems. What she's really asking is for you to prove your love, not through kindness or commitment, but by making yourself small, by shrinking your dreams to fit within her comfort zone. She's turning one of the most beautiful things you can offer, love, into a bargaining chip. If you agree and stay behind, you've just taught her that your goals and ambitions are optional, that they can be paused, cancelled, or sacrificed when it suits her emotions. If you refuse, she'll likely accuse you of being selfish or uncaring. Either way, the situation becomes a no-win scenario. The scoreboard in this relationship is already rigged against you, and it won't stop at just one request. You'll start hearing other phrases like, if you cared about me, you'd give me your phone, or if you really loved me, you'd stop talking to those friends. They're bad for you. Maybe it escalates to, if you love me, co-sign this loan, or give up that job, it takes up too much of your time. These are not expressions of love. They are forms of emotional manipulation, blackmail, disguised as intimacy. And if you give in too often, it chips away at your identity. First, it might be a missed night out with friends. Then maybe you turn down a major career move. Before long, your world has been reduced to the size of her insecurities. Your dreams, your ambitions, your very sense of self are now sacrifices laid at the altar of her need for control and validation. So how do you stop this cycle? The first time it happens, stay calm. Keep your voice steady, look her in the eyes and say clearly, love is not a transaction. I can love you deeply and still honour my goals. That single sentence shifts the conversation from guilt to principle. If she understands and agrees, then congratulations, you've just strengthened the foundation of your relationship. But if she doubles down with more guilt or veiled threats, you need to seek clarity. You can say, love that demands I give up who I am to prove it isn't love at all. Are we really on the same page? If she still refuses to accept accountability after that, it's time to walk away, not out of anger, but with peace and purpose. A simple, this dynamic isn't healthy for either of us, so I'm stepping away, is enough. Remember this, high-value individuals do not trade their destiny for temporary emotional comfort. Real love supports growth. It doesn't demand sacrifice at the expense of your purpose. Protect your peace, protect your future, and the right partner will walk with you, not hold you back. Phrase number 3, maybe we should see other people. Picture this, you're sitting across from her at your favourite coffee shop. The steam rises gently from your drink. The vibe is calm, low stakes. You've just brought up a respectful boundary, maybe asking her to ease off the public flirting or tone down how she interacts with guys in her DMs. Nothing wild, just clarity. She stirs her drink slowly, then looks you dead in the eye and drops it. Maybe we should see other people. Pause right there. That's not just a casual suggestion or an innocent reflection. That sentence is a power play. She's not really proposing a healthy conversation about the relationship. What she's doing is testing you, dangling the idea of a breakup like bait, just to see how far you'll bend to keep her. It's emotional chess. A tactic, not a truth. Let's be real. When someone says, maybe we should see other people, what they often mean is, I want the perks of being exclusive without the responsibilities of commitment or accountability. That phrase is a loaded weapon. And if you're not careful, it cuts deep. It keeps you anxious, off balance, always chasing approval. You'll hear red flag versions of this line too. Things like, maybe we rushed into this. I don't think monogamy is right for me right now. Let's keep things open for now. These aren't thoughtful reflections, they're soft ultimatums. Each version puts you on emotional probation while she explores her options. And here's what it does to you. It forces you into performance mode. You stop connecting authentically and start trying to constantly reassure her. That's not love, it's a one-sided hustle. This dynamic creates a serious imbalance. She controls the threat level and you scramble to diffuse it. Slowly, you start losing your sense of self. Your decisions aren't based on your values anymore, they're just reactions to her fear tactics. But here's the shift. Look her straight in the eye and say, calmly and firmly, if you're unsure, that's your journey. I'm looking for someone who's fully in, not half out. Let's end this before resentment builds. That one move does a few powerful things. First, it takes her words at face value. No begging, no convincing. Second, it shows self-respect. You're not willing to be someone's backup plan or emotional safety net. And third, it puts the spotlight on her intentions. Does she want you, or does she just want control? So here's your two-step protocol. Call the bluff. Use that direct response once and observe her reaction. Close the door. Even if she backpedals or tries to clarify, you walk away, because someone who plays games today will likely betray trust tomorrow. Here's the truth. High-value men don't stick around for emotional roller coasters. When she floats the idea of seeing other people, take it as your green light to walk, gracefully but firmly. because the right woman, she'll never have to threaten to leave just to remind you of your worth. Phrase number 4, you're lucky I'm with you. Imagine this. You've just pulled off something major at work, met a big deadline, exceeded expectations, and you're still riding the wave of accomplishment. Proud and excited, you rush to share the moment with your partner, but instead of enthusiasm or encouragement, she glances up from her phone, smirks, and says, "Well, you're lucky I'm with you." Pause right there. Let that phrase sink in. You're lucky I'm with you. At first, it might sound like a harmless joke or a playful jab, but make no mistake, this statement carries an undertone of superiority and subtle contempt. She's positioned herself as the prize and you as the unworthy recipient. It's not appreciation, it's a calculated assertion of dominance. This phrase sends a message. You should be grateful to have someone like me, and by implication, you're not quite good enough. What she's really doing is shifting the power dynamic. It's no longer a relationship of equals. Instead, she's established herself as someone doing you a favor by being with you. And phrases like this aren't always obvious. They often come disguised as backhanded compliments. Most women wouldn't even look twice at a guy like you. Count your blessings. I could have anyone I want. You should be thankful I put up with this. Every variation drives the same dagger. It plants the idea that you're replaceable, that your presence is tolerated rather than valued. Over time, this kind of messaging chips away at your self-esteem. You begin to internalize the notion that you must constantly prove your worth, that her acceptance is conditional. This leads to a dangerous psychological trap. You adopt a scarcity mindset, constantly fearing that if you speak up or fall short, she'll leave and find someone better. You start shrinking in your own life, silencing your needs and reshaping your dreams just to maintain her approval. But ask yourself, is that really the kind of relationship you want? If you ever hear this phrase, here's how you respond, calmly and confidently. Look her in the eye and say, I appreciate you, but I'm not lucky. I bring value to this relationship too. This simple statement reclaims your worth. It's not about confrontation, it's about affirmation. And it tests whether she's willing to recognize you as a true partner. Next, follow this 2-step check-in. Clarify. Say something like, respect needs to go both ways. Do you see us as equals? Decide. If she mocks you or doubles down, that's your cue. Choose dignity over desperation. Say, this dynamic isn't healthy for me and I'm stepping back. Remember, high-value men don't chase validation. They build relationships based on mutual respect, not emotional manipulation. If someone can't recognize your worth, walk away. Don't settle for being tolerated when you deserve to be celebrated. Choose a table where your presence is valued, because you bring just as much to the partnership. Phrase 5, I don't owe you an explanation. This one shows up more often than you'd expect. Picture the scene. It's late on a Saturday night. Your phone has been quiet for hours. And suddenly, at 1 a.m., she finally sends a message or pops up online. Naturally, you ask, where have you been? Her response, I don't owe you an explanation. And just like that, the air shifts. What she's really saying, whether she realizes it or not, is that she wants the benefits of exclusivity, like your time, your energy, your loyalty, but without the bare minimum of accountability. It's like wanting the perks of a committed relationship without showing any of the respect that makes commitment possible. Here's the truth. Trust cannot survive without transparency. It's the oxygen of a healthy connection. A partner who values you and values the relationship might say something simple like, sorry, my phone died. I was out with Maya and we lost track of time. Here's what happened. That kind of openness doesn't mean reporting every step. It means respecting the other person enough to share. But when someone says, I don't owe you an explanation, they're not drawing a healthy boundary. They're building a wall. And behind that wall, secrecy, avoidance, and deflection. Let's be clear. Privacy is your right, but secrecy is a weapon. You'll often hear this phrase in different outfits. Maybe it sounds like, stop interrogating me, or you're being paranoid, or my life is my business. Every variation carries the same theme. Your need for clarity is being labelled as an attack, while her lack of openness is treated as untouchable. If you let it slide, suspicion begins to creep in. It doesn't happen all at once. Slowly, you'll start overanalyzing everything. every delay in her replies, every vague plan, every phone call she silences when you're around. Your energy shifts. Instead of investing in the relationship, you're burning mental fuel just trying to decode what's really happening. Before you know it, you're not a partner anymore. You're a detective. And she's not your girlfriend. She's the person constantly under investigation. That's not love. That's emotional exhaustion. So what should you do when it first happens? Keep your tone calm, your gaze steady, and say something like this. Look, I'm not asking for a detailed schedule of your day, but I believe open communication is a form of respect, and I only invest where respect flows both ways. This line sets your boundary with strength and grace. It doesn't accuse, it invites clarity. If she responds by explaining or apologizing, great. That's growth. You just elevated the connection. But if she rolls her eyes, dodges the topic, or shuts you out even more, it's time to move to step 2. Say this: without basic openness, we can't build trust. Are you willing to meet me halfway? If her answer is another excuse or a cold shoulder, don't argue, don't beg. Just thank her for her honesty and walk away. High-value men protect their peace. They don't chase clarity, they require it. When someone tells you she doesn't owe you an explanation, believe her. Then invest your time in someone who respects you enough to communicate openly. Because respect, it's not negotiable. Say it once. If she can't rise to it, you rise above it and walk. If this hit home, hit that subscribe button. More real talk is on the way. Choose respect, choose peace, choose yourself.